you're anything like me, you probably play guitar. Otherwise, why would you be on this channel? But not only do you play guitar, you probably amass a couple of pedals here and there, which is cool and all, but one thing that a lot of people don't seem to really look at with their pedals is their patch cables. Or let me ask you this, do you know what voltage your pedals are putting out? No, of course not. You just know what kind of noise they make. Well, my friends over at NUX have sent me this right here. This is the NMT-1 Multi Tester. This is a 4-in-1 multi-tester designed to help keep your pedal board healthy, with the added benefit of a built-in tuner. You have a patch cable tester, a DC cable tester, a pedal current and voltage meter, and then of course the aforementioned tuner, all built in to this little unit. Sorry, this little unit. Now I have a pretty small pedal board myself, but I do have an abundance of patch cables so we can properly test this thing. In the box for the NUX NMT-1, you get obviously the unit itself. You get 2 cables. You get this DC cable here for testing your DC connections. You get a USB-C cable for charging the unit, and you also get an instruction manual, which again, I highly recommend reading that instruction manual. So first things first, you may notice it's got some plastic on the screen here. So let's just, oh yeah, beautiful. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see what it looks like. Ooh. So this is straight out of the box, straight from NUX themselves, and it's got a full charge on it, folks. That's impressive. Although I do always highly recommend charging these things at least a little bit when you do get them out of the box. And that kind of goes across the board with everything that's on a battery. So let's go ahead and test the NMT-1 with a patch cable. This is a, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what brand of patch cable this is, but to test them, you're going to go into this 1/4-inch TS/TRS where it says tuner end on the right side, and we'll just plug it in. And then it should come up and say, oh yeah, it's detecting it. So there you go. And then you just plug in the other side of the patch cable to the other side of the unit. It'll detect both. And you can see the checks there showing that this patch cable is a good patch cable. Let's try it out with this one now. This is an older Fender one, so older cable. The other cable was relatively new, so let's see if this older cable works. So we'll plug it in. It's detecting it. Let's plug it into the other side. And it looks like this is also a good patch cable. So you're probably wondering, why the heck do I need this? Well, you never know. With your pedal boards, if you're playing live, your pedal boards can work fine at home, and then all of a sudden when you get to the gig, get everything set up, and you're 5 minutes from playing, you're not getting a signal, hey, you're gonna go check the pedal board. It very well could be a patch cable. So this is a very quick way for you to just kind of unplug each cable, plug them in, and see if they work. This could be a lifesaver if you're a gigging musician, or if you just have a massive pedal board and you stop getting signal one day. Another cool feature of this is you can also test your DC cables, or the cables that you use to actually plug in to your pedals that power your pedals. So we're going to use this one as an example because it's a dual end here. This is the one that came with the NMT-1. So let's plug it in here and see if it works. So it's going to work very much the same. You have these DC ports on the side. So you're going to take your cable, let's plug it into the right side here. So you see it'll come up and it'll say DC cable. Take your other side, plug it in, and you have the check marks on both sides. So the cable that NUX sent me with the NMT-1, it works. Again, you can use the NUX NMT-1 to test the voltage and the milliamps of your pedals on your pedal board. This can make sure that your power supplies are running correctly. You can make sure that your pedals are getting adequate power, all that kind of stuff. So again, this is great to have to check your pedal board. So any kind of gigging musician, if you have a bigger pedal board, again, I have a very small pedal board, you know, and it doesn't really matter which kind of power supply you have. I have a daisy chain running to all of these. So we're going to check it just on these 2 pedals here, just as an example. So as you can see, I plugged this one in. We're getting 9.3 volts, which is good. 34 milliamps, which I assume that's good. Now, if we were to plug in this one and this one together, let's see what that does. So we plug in this one to the current in. So that may be hard to see. This cable's kind of pulling this back, but we're still getting 9.3 volts, which is good. 17 milliamps from this pedal to this pedal. So far, thanks to the NUX NMT-1, I know that my pedal board is running great. So far, so good. Another thing I really like about this thing is the really big LCD display. So even if you have lights blaring down on you, you're going to be able to see this thing. Really impressed so far. This is really cool to have, and I really wish I actually had this a while back, because even with this tiny pedal board that I got, I was having some issues setting it up. Whenever I was plugging in my amp, I'd moved my amp around, and of course when you unplug everything, it messes you up because you don't remember where you kept everything plugged in, right? And I wasn't getting any power to my amp from my pedal board, and I was like, what's going on? And it ended up being a bad patch cable. That's why I ended up going to Guitar Center and buying some more patch cables. Bought a pack of 3 patch cables, those blue ones, as a matter of fact. And so yeah, those are brand new. That's why obviously they worked. And if they didn't work, the NUX NMT-1 would have told me so. And then I could have got myself a snappy refund. But there is one more feature that we haven't talked about yet in the NMT-1 by NUX, and that is the tuner. So let's go ahead and plug a guitar into this and see what we can do with the tuner. So I've got my guitar, I've got the NUX NMT-1 in tuner mode. We're gonna plug it in to where it says tuner in right here on the unit. And I'm just gonna place it up here the best way that I can for you guys to see the tuner in action. So I can see in my camera screen there how bright this is on the screen. That is an impressive display. In fact, I'm gonna look at it myself. I'm just going to, wow, yeah. So I saw it in my screen there. Very responsive tuner, very accurate tuner. This guitar is perfectly in tune. I did have to make a little bit of an adjustment, as you probably saw there. If not, I heard it, but I digress. The tuner on this is really cool. It's really useful. Obviously, as a guitar player, we can always use another tuner. And the fact that you'll have it with your pedal board, you know, while you're checking it, that's always going to be the last thing you want to do before you start any gig or any recording, is make sure your guitar is in tune. So just kind of final thoughts on the NUX NMT-1 Multi Tester. This is a very handy unit. At first, I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical. I was like, why would I need this? Why would I use this? Well, again, I've had problems in the past with my pedal board kind of just dying on me and it being a patch cable. If I would have had this when that happened, this would have saved me a ton of time. The built-in tuner is a plus. The DC power checker and all that kind of stuff, all that is a plus. This is a really cool unit. It's solidly built. It's really lightweight, but I mean, it does feel like it's a solid unit. Again, that big LCD screen, it's a bonus for me. Love this thing. Go pick one up. I'll leave links in the description. This was a sponsored video by NUX, so thank you once again, NUX, for sending this out to me. I greatly appreciated it. And yeah, go check one out. Again, links in the description. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, all the good YouTube stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.